It's going to RFP, so you
Yeah,
never
right, the
know.
right price, we'll see.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That brings us to our next agenda item, which is the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve? So any discussion?
I want to pull item 5C and 5D.
I'd like to pull 5E. Anything else? Okay, so there's a motion and a second to adopt the consent agenda. No. Yes. Adopt the consent agenda with 5C, 5D, and 5E not included. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? 7. Okay, so now we're going to go into items removed, and the first item removed was 5C, which is consider approval of the village board minutes of May 16th, 2018.
I move approval of May 16th, 2018.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Correction, roll call, it had Elson Rozak actually as a trustee, and it did not indicate that the excused trustee Bach course in the minutes. That was not a change, I saw. I think you're right, Elson.
Okay. Yeah.
Which town are you driving?
May 16th.
Human relations commission.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the Human Relations Commission.
All right. So we have a motion. Any other discussion? Okay. All those in favor of the motion with the changes voted by Trustee Maher, say aye. 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 Any opposed? The motion passes 7-0. The next item that we'll discuss is 5D, consider approval of the village board minutes of May 21st, 2018.
I move approval of May 21st, 2018 minutes.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Yeah, at the top of the page, no, it's the fourth page, I guess, the last page of the minutes, of the regular minutes, second paragraph. There was a motion and a second for the 3 extensions or permits, but there was no vote indicated. I think the motion carried 5-0.
Thank you. Any other discussion? We have a motion and a second to approve with the changes noted. All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
I abstained because I wasn't present at that meeting. I don't know if I should have said that during discussion.
That's okay. So motion passes 6-0 with 1 abstention. Trustee. Okay. Trustee Warren.
Point of order, do I abstain as well since I was not a part of the board for those?
Thank you.
Thank you.
And do we acknowledge that during discussion before the vote takes place or as part of the vote? I've never abstained before, so I don't.
I mean, you're really just determining whether the minutes actually so as a body, we're just deciding.
I can assure you I did not.
If that's the case, I'd like to remove my second. Can I get a point of clarification on that response? I did read, I can't remember if it was in statutes or the Robert's Rules of Law, but that we are supposed to ask to be abstaining during the discussion part and then it's to be announced. So technically, just for future, is that the proper way to do it?
If you know you're going to abstain.
And why?
You certainly can make that.
Okay, I just didn't know if that was required. I had read it somewhere and it wasn't positive. Okay, thank you. So we have two abstains, so.
Abstains, 5-0.
5-0. All right. The next order of business is 5E.
5-0.
And that is to consider approval of the village board minutes of May 22nd, 2018.
Approval of the May 22nd.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Yeah, on number 10, the village trustees, where it says trustee meant to update it on conservation committee meeting, I'd like to change, there was no consensus about snow jumping, but further discussion will take place. Instead of really just say there was no consensus.
Any other discussion? With that, we have a motion and a second with the change noted.
This is of May 22nd. Oh, it is May 21st. May 21st.
Wait, sorry. Oh,
But,
yeah.
Sorry, it's May 21st.
oh, we already voted on those.
Yeah.
We already voted.
Well, I meant to say May 21st.
No, clarification, no.
May
So-
22nd, I believe we already approved under consent calendar.
They were
They were
removed. So we can.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I pulled the wrong ones, I'm sorry, so I wanted to pull D. All right, I messed everything.
We did pull Ds, didn't we? We pulled
Yeah.
5C, 5D, 5E. We approved so far 5C and 5D, and we're on 5E.
Right, I pulled the wrong one, I wanted to pull D, and I pulled D.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
So can I,
should we
okay, so
reconsider?
let's reconsider D. Yeah, I'll move to reconsider.
Although I don't think we can.
I don't-
Yes, we all voted in favor, oh, can't we?
Well, is-
All right, it's not that big of a deal, let's just move on.
Okay. So does anyone have anything else for 5E? If not, we have a motion and a second and no changes. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Okay. Yes, so item number 7, public hearings. Tonight we do not have any scheduled. The next agenda item is citizens to be heard. Are there any citizens in the audience that would like to be heard on non-agenda items? Seeing none, we will move into new business. 9A, agenda item, consider application for special event permit, temporary extension of premise, and short-term cabaret license for Three Lions Pub on July 15, 2018, for the 2018 World Cup Finals. And we have a business owner here, so
Hello.
state your name and your
David
address.
Price, Three Lions Pub. Good evening, Shorewood torchbearers. How are you all this evening?
Go ahead. Thank you.
Yeah, just there was one aspect to that I wanted to go over with the chief, just on recommendations there. But can I talk about that now? Or?
Sure.
Just one thing we'd said, we got put forward, the police chief recommended two officers on overtime for $1,200. Total respect, the chiefs, I understand where he's coming from on that for safety, security. We did do this during the last World Cup, but at that time that was largely because of the fact that we'd never done this before, you know. And we're now on 9-10 events, and my issue with that is $1,200, that's just one thing. What a lot of people don't understand is we put so much money in these events constantly. We are the only ones paying the Three Lions. They don't pay, no store don't, shop contribute, no they don't contribute, we pay for the whole thing. And we are also being treated when it comes to support from Shorewood now. We're not getting picnic benches, the DPW don't want to get involved, so we're being told this is a private event, 100%. But now we're also being told that we have to fund the public support of this, whereas I just feel for $1,200 it is a lot of money. And I feel in a village that's 1 square mile, we've done 9 events, not a single arrest, not a single drunken disorder, not a single assault, no problems. So I just don't understand why now we need to pay $1,200 for 2 officers, and if security is the issue, what I'd rather do to appease the chief, and this is something that obviously I just want to see what you guys think about it and what the chief thinks, I would honestly rather bring 6 kids in paying more $100 to, and I say security, I say bouncers, when I say that, paying them guys to get 6 bouncers in the area, because when it gets out of hand, that's when you need the police. You know, I understand that. But we've come pretty accustomed to doing this. $1,200 is a lot of money on top of this, and this. All I do ask is that if that is the way we're going forward, please understand that I think I have every reasonable shout to then say, okay, when the men's club have theirs, with these statistics, this is how many police we should be paying, and that should be coming out of their budget. When we have the bike races, if we've got this amount of people and we need this amount of police, then we have to pay for the police to do that as well. So I'm just saying, if it's a private event, and this was something that my Bertucci, I was in the kitchen cabinet down in Milwaukee when we did this the first time with the chief when he made us do it that one time for the World Cup. He said to me, Pricey, it's a private event, you should have just hired your own security staff, saved yourself some money, and then it'd have been, you can control it the way you want it then. And that's just kind of how they do it down in Milwaukee. They're given that freedom to do that. And I just add it again, if that's it, this is the kind of contingency that you guys are set on, perfectly fine with it, totally understand it. I'm just saying, if we have to do it, then everybody's going to have to do it. And I think that's only reasonable. And if it is a case of security, then just help us on the profit standpoint. I'd rather hire security and get 3 times as many people for half the price.
If you don't mind, Rebecca, can you just give us a summary of why, I understand we talked about this once before, the bid event for St. Patty's Day.
Yeah.
We don't have for the trustees' purposes, we don't have a special events policy yet. Our village manager has indicated it will be coming forward in draft form next meeting. And that would set out, the regulations of who it applies to and who it doesn't. But for our understanding, can you just give us a reasoning of, is it because it's public right of way that we would have jurisdiction to say you can't hire your own security guards? Is there a reason why we have to provide our police officers?
Oh, okay. Well, as far as I'm aware of, the villages that are having discussions as to whether private services would or should be allowed. I know we have Chief Nimmer in the room. I don't know if he has any specific thoughts relative to that. But from my understanding, that has not been a discussion here at the village board. It is something that in the review of the document, this was not a village-sponsored event, and it does require services and overtime. So from a budgeting perspective, while one event may not seem like a big deal in the short term, there are a number of events, and we applaud the successfulness of the events that you have done. But it's also causing us to stand back and also reevaluate, the resources that are being put in, because it's not, it's now, these things are continuing to reoccur. So we're needing to check back into the board to see, what in fact do you want to financially support.
Is there any legal reasons why they can't? I guess is what I'm saying, is if it's public right away, can they provide their own security legally?
Are there any, from my experience, but you can, to use in a private service, they're not able to issue and arrest and deal with things. They would definitely still be calling into our offices to do that.
You think if there are as many employees as they want to assist with, I guess you call them bouncer, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
I think that my understanding from talking to the chief is that whether or not, however much security that you were looking at, my understanding was that we had, when there's events such as this, we would schedule a few extra individuals to work in case something came up. And the idea was to pass that off. Is the chief is here?
I suppose I could speak. So this comes on the heels of the Shorewood shenanigans, and certainly that event was unknown. We didn't know what we were to expect. It was going to be St. Patrick's Day, so I think we were overly precautious on that. The event was fine. I think it comes down to a comfort level. Certainly with 2 of our officers there, they're under our control, under our policies, they can make arrests, they can take, professional action, they know how to deal with crowds and all those types of things. If you choose to go to the security route, I don't know how you're gonna vet those bouncers or whatnot. And from my understanding, the last event was fine. Last World Cup event, there was no issues. So I think it's more of what your comfort level is with these types of events, with this event and then events moving forward, how we handle those. And, you know, my concern is that we put in place to block the road again, because large crowds sitting in the middle of the street is a concern for me. You just have to look overseas at what's going on over there, as cars are being used as weapons. So we've worked with them, and part of their application is to have vehicles block the road on both ends of Oakland Avenue so that a vehicle could not just barrel down the road. So that precaution is going to be taking place. I was asked for recommendation on what we thought we would need if we were going to do it, and that was the recommendation that I made. I'm not opposed if you want to go with a security guard type of